Welcome to the Playful Life podcast. I am Crystal from Crystallized Health Advisors. I started this podcast because I wanted more out of life. I want to truly live, not just be alive, not just survive every day. And for me, that was having my physical, my mental, emotional, and spiritual health and well-being all in balance and harmony with each other. And on this podcast, I am so lucky and blessed to bring guests and ideas together that truly elevate those parts of my life. So I hope that you find the inspiration and overall wellness that you are looking for to live your best life, whether you want to look better, feel better, or truly just live a better life. My guest on the podcast today is Mozez Wright. He goes by Mozez mostly on social media, and you can find his original music on YouTube. I have been a fan of Mozez's for several years now. I've been following his music that he's collaborated on with groups such as 07 and Nightmares on Wax. And he has been putting out just the most incredible original music, you guys. It honestly was the soundtrack to my entire summer in 2020. Just being able to relax and find like an energy in his music that I can't even really describe it, but it is such a healing music that he has and that I'm so fortunate to listen to. And on the podcast, we talk about wellness, health in a sense of like, how do you keep your health in balance when maybe you are touring or your schedule isn't always the most normal, and also about being the light in the world that we all wish to see. And Mozez is definitely all about sharing his light with the world, his talent with the world, and I am so, so grateful that he shared his light with me on the podcast. Enjoy. Welcome, Mozez, to the Playful Life.
Thank you, Crystal. Thanks for inviting me.
Happy Absolutely. Thank you. You too. And we were chatting. I was interested that you are actually in Rome right now. Is that correct?
That is correct indeed.
Yeah. Wow. So Italy is holds a special place in my heart. I would love to, I plan to actually live there someday, at least for a small amount of time. So you're in Rome, and right now as we're recording this, it is March of 2021, and it's my understanding that things in Italy again are a little bit sketchy with COVID. So how are you doing?
Strangely enough, I have to be correct. I have to think about what I'm saying. But it's not as probably the news would have it. I think the people here have sort of obeyed the laws of it basically, and are quite sort of adapting to the whole process. So I don't see the difference basically. The lockdown doesn't make any fundamental difference from it not being locked down. So I can't say there's a massive difference basically.
Okay. Well, that's good. It looks like you have a very safe and bunkered workspace there behind you.
No, it's good. It's good. It's okay. It's okay.
Wonderful. So for those of you watching or listening that don't know Mozez, as soon as you are done with this podcast, you need to go and click all the links that are below and check out his music.
Yes,
it is absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan, so I really, again, appreciate you being here. So you've got the piano behind you, and I love it. So tell me, Mozez, how did you get into music? Was it something that from little you knew you always wanted to be a musician?
Yes, years ago, I was part of a gospel band with my brothers. I have 7 brothers. And we formed a gospel group with 4 of us. That was about 12, 13 years and years ago that was. And my dad was a minister, basically, church minister. And we sort of, gravitated into singing, gradually through the church, through the whole process, and we formed a band that was went for a while went pretty well in the gospel arena. Then after moving to England, I was living in Jamaica at the time, basically. After moving to England, I sort of moved away from the gospel groove and became a solo vocalist, basically. And then went into a group called Spirits, which went well, and then into 07, then from 07 to Nightmares in Wax, then I just thought, okay, just be Mozez now. So here I am, trying to be Mozez, basically, yeah.
That's great. That's how life is sometimes, right?
Absolutely,
You collaborate and you sort of prop up or support other people and what they're doing, and then eventually it comes around and you say, okay, time for me now. So
yeah,
that's
absolutely,
wonderful.
Absolutely. But yes, it's been a hard ride, but I enjoyed it at the same time. Music is a hard business, but if you don't enjoy it, then don't get in it, basically.
Exactly.
Just try to talk straight, basically. Just try to be as frank as possible,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And I have noticed that very thing. We're musicians here in Chicago, and it's tough. And I think one of the things that makes it hard is that there's so much talent out there, is that there really are a lot of talented people.
I remember on a tour in the US, I don't remember exactly where I was, but I was walking down the street and I heard this girl singing, and I'm thinking, this is the most marvelous voice. Just happened to saw this girl, and she was singing this wonderful song, and I was thinking, this is fantastic. This is a fantastic voice, So there's so much talent out there, basically, So yeah.
Yes. And the internet, I think, is helpful in certain ways to give people a platform that, maybe 20, 30 years ago, if you didn't have like a record company behind you or something, right, nobody would know who you were. So that is a blessing, I think, and a curse sometimes, but I try to think of it as a blessing as much as possible.
Absolutely.
So as far as songwriting, where do you draw your inspiration? Do you write on piano mostly or guitar? What's that process like for you?
I don't have a sort of a form in terms of how my writing comes. I sometimes it's via a dream. Sometimes I sit down and try to play the piano. Sometimes it comes from different places, basically. Sometimes it's just an image I get in my head, or I'm traveling a bus or something. It comes from various things because I don't actually necessarily say I'm going to sit down and write a song today. I tend to, pick up things from all over.
Yeah. Yes, I like that. And so some of your most recent music, Destiny Ride, I have been listening to that one a lot on Spotify, and there's a YouTube video with that as well that has you in it. It's so neat. So was that filmed in Italy or was that the UK?
It was not in Italy. A friend of mine, Diego, I sent him, I did some stuff here, took my I'm just telling the secrets now. Took my phone and filmed myself and sent it to him, and he did the rest, basically. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Again, how amazing the world is now that it's so simple.
I remember spending thousands and years ago, thousands and thousands and thousands on videos, When I was with the MCA, and throughout the years, but now you can do so much with it, with so little.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So I have some questions here. So as your career evolved as a musician, and I'm sure you did some touring and had some different things that you did in that realm. So what was that like for you? Did you tour a lot? And you said you were in the US. What about that lifestyle did you enjoy? And what about it was most difficult for you?
I enjoy touring. I toured with Channel of Praise. That was back in the early 90s. Then I toured with Spirit as well in the dance arena. That was a total different thing, because it was mayhem basically, you know. And then with 07 was, you know, I did two stints with them, 2 tours with them. I think it was 2001 and 2004. Then had a break. Then I did a couple of tours with Amazing Wax as well. And one should be coming up in probably, if not later this year, next year. So I enjoy touring. I do enjoy it, but at the same time, it depends on where I am. It depends on where you go. I enjoy America for one, but there are places that you go to that, you know, it gets hard. You know. So yeah, but I enjoy it a lot, and it's one of the things I enjoy traveling, and that's one part of it. That's great, and the music is another part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, so we're sort of health and wellness related here at the Playful Life. So I am curious because when I tour, I find that unless I'm gone for a very long time, if it's just these short periods of time, I find it very hard to keep a routine or like, you know, exercise or like eat healthy or, you know, do these things that I know are good for my body. So did you have, you know, a certain routine that you would follow on tour, or what were some of those things maybe you did to like hack the process of staying healthy?
Good question, because I happen to, I was a problem to because the managers, because they have to find special foods for me, because I can't eat certain stuff, you know, like I don't drink milk, I don't eat certain type of meat, so because of, you know, and because of health problems I had before. But it has turned out to be a good thing for me, not drinking certain, not eating certain, just eating certain types of food, you know, mostly vegetables, you know, and, you know, I tend to go on periodic fastings as well, which is, you know, helpful to me. So when it comes on to health and that sort of sense, I'm pretty much, you know, I would love to feel that I'm on top of it. I'm not, but I love to think that way. Yeah, but yeah, so, you know, it's a hard thing to be healthy when you're traveling, and because sometimes when you're touring, because sometimes you have to take a quick stop and pick up something that's not good, you know, not really great to eat. So you have to be really conscious of what you're doing when you're touring. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's nice that at least some of the tour managers had maybe a writer in there for you that they would provide the things that you needed.
Yes. Yes. Of course they do. Of course they do. But, you know, sometimes you cannot, there's food there, but it's not food that you know, when you're traveling with a lot of people as well, you know, it's a lot of fun. Just put it that way. It's a lot of fun because somebody takes your food and, you know, you have to wait until the next stop. There's so much to talk about when it comes into that. So much in terms of you know, the journey, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And as far as like a physical well-being, you know, being on tour and being a singer, right? Like your voice is your instrument. So I can imagine that there's a level of needing to take care of your instrument and your body. So what was that like for you? I mean, what's it like for you now? And maybe how is that different from, you know, when you were touring?
Yeah, I mean, as time goes on, as you know, your body gets older. You love to think that you're still young, but everybody gets older. So you have to work out how to manage yourself, you know, in terms of the food you eat, in terms of the type of the time. You set a time for eating, and you have to follow that sort of schedule. In terms of, you know, I love to when I'm on tour, I tend to have a schedule of eating. When I'm here, I'm at home, I tend not to follow the same thing, but I tend not to do the same thing. But I love to think that that's the best way of maintaining your health. If you keep a consistent, regular diet, basically, yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. So even if, like when you're traveling, if eating sporadically is your schedule, I guess then being consistent with that is probably helpful too, right?
It's difficult. It's a difficult thing because you set out before you go on tour, you said, okay, you know, this is what I want to do. This is my time of eat. This is my type of food. Da 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 da. And you try to keep to that schedule and that type of regime as much as possible. You never are able to do it fully, but that's what you do. You set out a system of eating. You set out a system of okay, I have to wake up at this time. I have to do it, but it never works out that in as good as you want it to be.
Right. Yeah. But progress, not perfection, right?
Absolutely.
And how about like from a like a spiritual and mental, emotional well-being point of view? I know that I enjoy following you on Instagram. Everybody here, follow him on Instagram, Mozez Official. We'll link it down below. But I love your positive energy, and you know, I can tell that you're really like nature. You know, you post a lot of beautiful pictures of where you're at. So I guess what's that like for you? Is there a certain practice that you have to sort of stay in that positive zone for yourself?
It's not a practice. I've always, ever since I was growing up, I've always, my energy, you know, comes, I'm grown in Jamaica, you have a lot of, nature is everywhere, you know, everything is, the sunshine is there. And I love to maintain that sort of sunshine wherever I go. I'm always thinking, okay, you know, even though, so for instance, in the UK, you know, you have terrible winter, the winter not so great, but I always have to think of it as, okay, you know, I'm in a sunny place, you know, I'm benefiting from the sunlight, even though it's not there, you know, so it's just sort of, how can I put it? Just sort of projecting that sun energy all the time, you know, that's what I love to do, yeah. And I guess when if you think of a thing, if you constantly, you know, pursue something in your mind, whatever it is, whatever you pursue, whatever energy you drive to get, basically becomes you. So I guess over the years, because I'm driven to this sort of happy energy, then it becomes a part of me, I guess. I love to think that.
Wow, that is incredible. What a great way to put it. That not waiting for external things to bring that sun energy to you, but you saying, this is what I want for myself. So you project it out of your own being and
absolutely.
Attract it back to you.
Regardless of what the circumstances is, regardless of where you are, regardless of the darkness that you're facing, it's about, because in essence, the darkness is not, I mean, this gets a bit strange, but the darkness is not really there. It's the energy, because for me, you are the light at all times. You are that which drives away that darkness, you know. So when you get into that room, regardless of how dark it is, it becomes light, basically, because you're there. That's how I want to see it. Wherever I am, regardless, it doesn't sort of impose itself on me. I become the light so that whoever is around me becomes a light as well. I mean, it sounds a bit, but it's how I think. It's how I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it and appreciate it so much. I feel the same a lot of times that, it's be the light that you want to see in the world, right? Or be the change that you want to see in the world. And I think for me, I've tuned out a lot of the news and sort of the negative things. I mean, not that I am maybe ignorant to what's going on in the world, but it certainly like affects me on a very deep level to see, all these horrible things going on in the world. And I think sometimes, well, what am I going to do about it? I'm just this girl here in Chicago, and, how am I ever going to change the world, right? And I don't even have maybe as large of a platform as someone like you, right? So I say, well, I guess I could start with that one person, right? The one person I cross paths with on the street or at the grocery store or something, and just hope that it sort of has that compound ripple effect.
Absolutely. And the thing is, if you're in a good place, spiritually, mentally, then you will affect others around. If you try to change the world, then the world's a big place. Everything, it's vast, So the thing to change for me is me. If I am happy, if I am in a good place, then, the few people that wherever I go, I'm bringing this energy, I'm bringing this light, and that's how I see it, it's not. And so my post is not necessarily intrude for people. Understand what I'm saying? It's not. It's me. It's me. I get up and so I'm feeling down, but I put, okay, this is what Mozez wants. I want energy. I want light. I want, So I push it out there because I go back and I read it. That's okay. I wrote that, so I'm gonna feel happy this morning. Yeah. So that's it. So instead, whenever I go on to my Facebook or my Instagram or whatever, for me, because I spend time in these places, I wanted to reflect the energy that's me. I see it and I read and I think, okay, I need to be what I've stated.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And
that's really powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I believe that when I set out doing this podcast and I called it The Playful Life, like that is the exact thing that I am capturing with this, that, life is meant to be playful, right? And as humans, I believe we are all connected on some level, right? With our energy, and we're all put here to lift each other up. And what a great way to do that, right? By starting with ourselves. So that's awesome.
Yeah, the thing about it, how I look at it is that, from a spiritual perspective, that if you look at if you come from a scriptural perspective, God created, the divine created everything, and for me, it is a wonderful place. The animals are perfect. Everything is perfect. The only thing that's creating a dark energy is us, because we think these energies. We push these energies on each other. So the world itself is beautiful. Everything is perfect. It's just us. If we can gravitate and push all our thoughts into one place, if we have good energy, basically, then the world can be a better place. It could be a better place tomorrow.
Yes. Absolutely, yes. And I feel that way when I listen to your music. And I think I even wrote you a message maybe back during the summer last year. And I was like, your music, 07, all those things, like have become sort of my soundtrack to starting my day, because it really is, it's positive, and it gets me in a mindset where I feel, grounded. I feel ready to sort of take on the day. I typically listen to it while I'm writing in my gratitude journal. So it's really, really transformational, actually. And, I'm
thankful you're saying that. Thank you very, very much, because it's something that, for me, it's what the whole thing is about. It's giving good energy to whoever you come across. That's what the whole thing is about, because it's one spirit, it's one nature. The whole thing is we love to be individuals. Each of us love to be individual and think that we're special, but we're not. We're one collective in every sense of the word. You only need to, and in truth, this idea of separation is sold to us over the ages. It's not true. It's a thing that's sold to us. But instinctively, we are creatures of beauty and honesty and love and divine energy. We are indeed.
Yes. So you are in Rome right now, but you said you also live in the UK. So, I guess, what's it like for you when you live in Italy? Do you have like a network of musicians or people or friends, or, because we are social beings, right? And even though COVID has changed some of that for us, unfortunately, what is life like with you, for you in that sense, like in a social sense when you're abroad?
It's the same. It's the same as in the UK, basically. I come out here whenever I can, and because the sunshine is here, and I've quite a number of friends here, as in the UK. I'm not a person who thinks that, okay, I'm from Jamaica, I'm from the UK, I'm from Italy. Wherever I go, it's me. It's my for me, it's just I gravitate to the energy. Whatever the energy is, that's what I hold on to. So Italy is great. It's beautiful. The sunshine is here. The people are great, and I love it. The UK is great as well, So I don't let the place I'm in dictate my state of being.
Yes. Excellent. I agree with you. The sunshine, that is very much why I love Italy so much and want to be there. I am so curious. So one of the things I really love is like going to an open mic occasionally or something like that, right? And sometimes those smaller type of venues where it's just some people gathered and you're just singing or, playing a song or sharing something original. And when people get to, I say, your level sort of, right? Like you've toured nationally and you play, I'm sure, in front of hundreds, thousands of people. Like, do you ever, still find yourself in the situations where you find like just a small open mic or a gathering or something like that and share your music in that way?
For me, I understand what you're saying about levels, but but in truth, there's no levels. It's just you're given an opportunity to how I look at it. You're given an opportunity to sing to a wider audience. That's all. It's not. There's no. It's all about all of these people up there. It's just about money and about. The whole thing is the same. I don't care that much about the levels. So wherever, if there's people there and they want me to sing and I feel that the situation's right, I sing. There's no, I'm not so much careful of, that's out of stardom, basically.
Right.
It's real, and you know, I'm not knocking people for it, but for me, it's more about the message. I'm about, you know, and you know, I'm about giving out what I feel at this moment, this present moment, this present time. That's it for me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I agree that you know, I think the people who chase the fame and chase the status and the money and whatever it is, like, you know, I would have to argue that maybe they're not in it for the right reason. And you know, art and music and things like that are sort of in the eye of the beholder, right? Or the ear of the beholder. So I love how you put that, that it's just sort of the opportunities that come your way that put you in front of different audiences and
Yeah,
things
how
like
I'm
that.
looking at how my state of thinking is that we are given life is a road, and you will meet different characters, different people in it, and it's how you you respond to these people that will, you know, in the essence, in the end, be what is true to you, be helpful. It doesn't, for me, if you're given the opportunity to sing to millions and you are not given the message that you were given to give, then you're not being your true self. If I, being Moses, I've given 2 or 3 people to sing to me, you know, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to give a message to those 3 people. You know, and my aim is to give that message in the best way I can. If it turns out that there are millions, and I give a message just the same way, the best way I can. And that's how I think about it. I mean, might not be the, you know, it might not be the, you know, it might not help in some respects in terms of from a perspective of business, from the business perspective of it, because you know the companies will probably dictate what you should sing, what you should write, what you should, you know, and say this will work. But for me, I've never been, you know, I want to be able to deliver. For me, it's about a message. You know, singing is about delivering something tangible into the spirit of another person.
Yes, that's beautiful. And I completely agree. That is how I feel when I listen to your music, is that I'm hearing something greater, or hearing something, it's almost like a channel, right? That like when you listen to music that has like a message that really hits you, right? Or you know, music, I feel when I listen to it, I want it to move me. I want it to invoke some sort of emotion. And I can definitely tell that that is the place where you come from. And not to knock, you know, traditional pop music or anything like that, but, you know, I think there's a time and a place. And sometimes that emotion that I'm looking for is just
absolutely
the beat, right? Or just to feel, just to move my body or something like that. But I think the reason why I gravitate towards your music and music in that style when I'm especially like journaling and, you know, getting grounded for the day is because it really does invoke those thoughts and invoke those emotions for me. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm sure you don't play music, record music, and listen to music 100% of your day. Although I'm sure when you do what you love, it's not really work. But what else do you do for fun? I mean, you're there in Rome. What's it like? You know, what's a typical day for you? Do you have anything that you do to be playful, or what are your hobbies?
I like going out to the beaches. I love, you know, Rome, Italy have some fantastic places to go to. The architecture, I love seeing the ancient structures. I love, I cannot put it enough how beautiful this place is. I'm not, no exaggeration. It's really fantastic. For me, the architecture, the style of life, the style, there's certain energy that you get when you're here, and it makes you feel like, okay, this is worth living. Life is worth living because this has so much history. There's so much power. There's so much beauty, So all of these different energies, and then you go to a quiet place, and there's a beach, and there's water, and there's quietness. So all of those different things that I like is here.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And I could not agree with you more. I felt the same in Rome, especially. I had a very, I'm going to say like a transformational experience. I broke my ankle 2 days before I went to Italy.
I shouldn't have laughed, but sorry about that.
No, I mean, I'm laughing about it now because we survived. But okay. It was just a very challenging trip. Like, they gave me a walking boot and I said, okay, I'm doing this, I'm going. And I'm so glad I did. Because if I had waited, I'd still be waiting, because then COVID happened and all that. So it was the very last day of our trip, and we ended our trip in Rome. And it was just,
it was recent.
It was 2019, September of 2019. Yeah. So my husband and I, we took a walk down by the Colosseum, took the train down there, just were walking around that area, found this really great neighborhood to have a sandwich and some coffee, of course. And the gentleman that was running the sandwich shop, he told us to, he sent us sort of on this walking pilgrimage to the place called the Keyhole in Rome. Have you been to it?
Keyhole. It sounds familiar, but my brain is such a sieve at the moment.
So I love that I could.
It sounds familiar. It sounds. Mary will tell me.
Okay. So I would strongly suggest you visit this place if you have time. But it was basically up a hill, and it was where the Knights Templar have their place there, and there's this little keyhole. You could look it up on Google, I'm sure, when you find it. So,
of course, I've seen it. Of course, I've been there twice actually.
Yes. So, right, you look through this keyhole in this door, and you see through the Knights Templar, and you can see the Vatican there in the distance. And
of course, yeah.
I just felt like the meaning of life just suddenly came to me. Right, I was like, this is like, the pinnacle, right? It was like the last day of my trip. My ankle was just done walking. I'd walked so much. I walked up this hill, and it was just this peaceful, calm feeling that I was going to be okay. God was taking care of me. That like I was on the right path. It was just such a beautiful experience. And so I yearn to have that again, but like you're saying, right? I can create that same feeling no matter where I am, and being able to hold on to that is just really beautiful.
It's the thing you can create. What I like about it here is that you don't have to work too hard to create the feeling, because everything is prepared for you, so the feeling is a bit more immediate than if you're in some other places. If you understand what I'm saying, because the energies are right in many places. They go to Venice, you go to all of those different energy, because it's almost like it's they have done it so it's a city, but at the same time you have the greens, you just go a little bit down there and there's woodland, you can, and I love that. It's like, it's not too much of a city, if you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
You hear you're driving through and you hear the birds, you hear, and you think, oh, this is marvelous, and if you pay attention to what's happening, I pay attention to little things. I pay attention to a lot of little things. And it's why I like it. That's why I like here, because a lot of little things, little nuances that happens which You know, it's like a city, but it's being grown over by nature. You know, there's parts of, yeah, if you understand, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
It's not too much of a city that is too clinical. It's there's parts of it, it's nature, it's here, and you know, and sometimes I'm traveling mine. I said, oh, look at that. I said, what are you talking about this? I said, can't you see the tree? How come it, you know? So yes, you didn't think I'm crazy sometimes, but
It's so true.
Right.
And being in America, right, the U.S., everything, we're such a baby here, you know, compared to the rest of the world, right? And so many places in Europe, right, in the Middle East, where, I mean, civilization began there, right? And you can look at buildings that are structures that are thousands of years old, right? Like the aqueduct system there in Rome. And it's so humbling. It's so humbling. And I mean, here too, we have, my house is 100 years old, and you know, we love stuff like this here, but it's so cool to think that, you know, people thousands of years ago walked those streets and, you know, looked at those same trees, right?
Absolutely. No, America has its grace. Well, I love San Diego, especially. I have a small spot for San Diego. I don't know exactly why, but it's always, I spent some time out there. I think I can't remember exactly when. And I really love, there's a certain amount of peacefulness about San Diego, which I like.
Yes.
Well. So,
San Diego is gorgeous. I have some friends out that way, and that is the probably the first place I'll hop on a plane and go to once I can. Yeah, and then Italy will be next because we're planning to spend February next year in Italy. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, if when it comes, just let us know. Let us know, and you know, absolutely, we can show you some places around as well.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah, we'll have to catch a cafe, get a cafe together, and
absolutely. No, it's great. It's great. You know, happy in spirit. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
and I could feel your energy. I know we're so far away and talking to each other on a screen, but how wonderful that technology brings us together.
It's great. You know, so regardless of what's happening around us, that's why I still look at it and say, you know, there is, regardless of the negatives, there's still so much positives. There's a scripture. I'm not going to scripture, you know, but it just came to me. Mm-hmm. Wherever there is, it's put this way: wherever sin abounds, grace much more abounds. And basically, it means that you understand what it means, you know. Mm-hmm. So wherever there is darkness, then light. There's so much more light, potential for light to be there, basically.
Yes, right. Because in the vast darkness, even if there's one light shining, you'll see it.
Absolutely.
Right? And how when you sort of walk into a dark room, having just the tiniest bit of a flashlight or a flame, right? It illuminates everything around you. And I love that. I read something a while back that was, you know, sort of keeping God, your higher power, is like that flame that you keep in front of you, right? Absolutely. So that no matter where you go, even if you're in darkness, there'll be light enough for you just to see far enough to go forward, right?
Yeah, the thing about it is that we tend to think, or you know, we're being pushed into the idea that, you know, it's all darkness, but in truth, it's all light. You know, everything is light, and the darkness is just a temporary thing that has come upon us, you know. So when we lose all of this negative energy, we go back to the light that we came from, because in essence that's what we are. Because the truth, and to me that's the truth, you know, that all of what's going on knows, all the negative things knows that it's temporary. Then the energies itself know that It's temporary, and they know that they only have a short time. So all of what's going on, we should be rejoicing. We should be happy right now because we have a creator, we have someone, and all the energies are pointing to good things. All the energies, all the virus and stuff like that, yeah, I understand. But it's temporary.
Mm.
The light is eternal.
Yes.
And the smile is eternal. All of that, that's what we came from. And that's what we're going back to. So all is good. every time I say that to Mary, she said, "Oh God, all is good."
It sounds like conversations that go on in my house.
Yeah, all is good. She said, because it is.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Yes. I love that. And what a great takeaway and what a great message for this audience that, everything really is working out for our good, whether we can see it right now or whether that becomes evident later, right? Yeah. Having that faith.
The thing is that it would be a disaster if it wasn't, the end wasn't good. The end has to be good because we don't know where we're coming from. So we have, and it would be, the world wouldn't make sense. Life wouldn't make sense if we're going back to, if it ends in, a situation where, if it is in a disaster. It cannot end in disaster. It has to end good because then that makes sense. The person that created the whole thing, he wouldn't have been. He's not a genius if it ends in a disaster.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not an
awesome way of looking at it. Yeah, and too, knowing that and having that perspective on it, I think maybe allows you, or to sort of look at life and say, okay, life is meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
And there's hardships, of course. There's grieving, there's loss, there's tragedy and things that happen around us. But I love that if your compass is pointing north and you're holding that light out in front of you, then there's always that to come back to.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. It's hard, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. That's right. But anything worth having is worth the struggle, right?
It's the whole process. It's a journey, and the journey is about learning. You learn and you try not to make the same mistakes. So I believe each of us come on this planet to learn something, because your mom and your dad have you, but they have no power over if you came or not in terms of the whole scheme of things, and you have this journey going on too. And I think God has allowed you to experience all of this, all that's going on for another journey which you will take in another place. That's how I look at it, So you're coming from nothing into this experience, which is great, and you're going into another experience, which will be even greater.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I love it. I feel so energized right now.
Yeah, it's my thinking. It might be, I love to look at it this way.
Yeah. And that's great that you share it with people too, because having that mindset, just sort of keeping it under a table or under a bushel, right? I mean, doesn't really help anybody, but
it liberate you. It doesn't empower. It doesn't liberate you. It doesn't make, look, if you put all the problems that you've had since you were born, you know, it doesn't really equate to a tenth of your life.
Mm.
All the
Right.
problems put together. So we are focusing so much on the problems that we don't see that 90% of your life is great. 90% is great, but we are so tuned to think that the negative part is more important. And it is not, you know, so yeah.
Right, right.
So, yeah.
Oh, this has been so wonderful, Mozez. Thank you. And I would love for you to, maybe share with people how can people find you? What's the best way to, find your music? And people are probably listening or watching this and saying like, I want some of that energy that he has, and I feel like they can get that through listening to your music and following you. So where do we do that?
Fortunately, my name Mozez, it's not Moses. It's spelled it's not a lot of people have that name. Basically, the way it's spelled. So if you're putting Mozez, you most likely will find me, Mozez Official or Mozez. You'll find my work. But you can go to www.mozez.co.uk or Newman Records, or you'll find
Wonderful. Yes. And I will have all of that link below in this as well. So, wow. Well, thank you again. This was so wonderful. And I appreciate your day is probably winding down, but my day is just getting started. So what a great way to start my day.
Absolutely. Thank you. And keep smiling. That energy is amazing.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Seriously, right. Seriously is. You don't, and it's a genuine smile as well, and it evokes great energy, and that is great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It is genuine, and
yeah.
I feel it is that light just coming through.
Yeah. Keep it going. Keep it going. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good talking to you.
Thank you, Mozez. You too. I appreciate it.
Talk to you forever. So that,
I agree. We'll get that coffee when I come to Italy.
Absolutely. Good Italian coffee. Absolutely. All right, Crystal. Take care.
You too.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Playful Life. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed this interview with my guest. Please don't keep this podcast a secret if you found something here that you truly enjoyed or took away. Invite someone to listen to it, share it with them, share it on your social media platform. We would love for more people to live the playful life. As always, you can find more information about our guests at the links below, and visit crystallizedhealthadvisors.com to find out how you can get your free 20-minute dream strategy call with me so that you can truly start living your best and most playful life. Thanks again to Ron Harlow Media for all of his awesome sponsorship and support of this podcast. And as always, stay playful.